This cop actually is high ranking, decides to physically assault a teenager because of his squeaking wheels. I kid you not. Here's the video.
I'm gonna beat your ass, and then I'm gonna take you to jail.
What? What'd I do?
Get out of here.
I didn't even do that.
Yeah, you did.
What'd I
Go.
do? What'd I do?
Go.
That battery?
Get out of here. It's disturbing the peace.
You hit me because of disturbing the
Yeah,
peace.
it's a crime. You need to go.
How did I disturb me? I didn't see anyone else wake up.
You need to get out of here. Right now, you disturbed my peace. Leave.
You just committed battery.
No.
Yes.
No,
You hit me with a
not.
flashlight. That's battery.
Get out of here.
How is that right?
Leave.
Battery, right?
Mhm.
Call the cops.
Yep, that's right. You call the cops.
You just committed battery, right?
Chief of police. Call the cops.
That doesn't work that way, dude.
Yeah. You're gonna tell me the law? What, you think some legal scholar on the Supreme Court?
No,
Well, like, what are we doing that's
that's
illegal?
police. You can't hit me with
You
a
can't
flashlight.
disturb the peace.
And then you
can't.
That cop did, in fact, commit battery. Interesting that the teenager was correct on the exact charge he should have. Now let's do this. We've identified this particular cop, and we have more background to what happened and what happened with his employment. Let's put his picture up full mass. You are looking at Bay City's finest, okay? He's the public safety director. His name is Michael J. Cecchini. Michael is now in trouble. This incident, before I go to that, let me remind you of what this director of public safety said. He said, and I quote, "I will beat your ass, then I'm gonna take you to jail." He also physically assaulted this teenager with his flashlight. That was battery. And it's interesting to note that this all started because of a squeaking noise. The incident in question occurred about 10:20 p.m. on Saturday, September 17th, in front of Rivers Edge Apartments on 9th Street in Upward Bay City. It involved the public safety director, Cecchini, and 3 other people, ages 18 and 19, riding bird scooters. Bird scooters, okay? Let's put the picture up. You see the bird scooter in the background, bird scooters. What in the hell can a bird scooter do to make a cop, a public safety director, get so upset that he literally physically assaults a teenager, makes a terroristic threat, and violate his own oath of office? There's more to this story. For anyone who does not know, a bird scooter is an electric scooter that has been becoming very popular in metropolitan areas. The mother of one of the teenagers spoke out about the incident and what happened. She said, and I quote, "They were riding bird scooters and went to leave the area," she said. To avoid hitting one of his friends, a male teen applied his brakes, causing the tires to squeak. The rider also knocked over a construction cone, which teens put back up, the mother said. The public safety director started screaming over the balcony and threatening them. So the threat started well before he got outside. She said nothing they were doing was in need of that kind of reaction from the cop. So after the video ends, the public safety director does what? Does he go home? Does he say, "Listen, I'm sorry, I got a little hot-headed. Please accept my apologies"? Does he say, "Listen, I'm sorry for how tough I talk to you. I talk like that sometimes and I should not have, okay? Just try to be careful in the future. Try to keep the noise down if you would." None of that. What does he do? He literally calls for backup. He calls for backup. So let's get to it. The mother who spoke with M Live said city police responded and detained the teens for several hours at the scene. The public safety director was allowed to leave, she said. The teens were eventually released without being issued a citation or charged because they did nothing illegal. That's why. The mother sent the footage to city commissioners. The mayor, she sent the footage to the city manager, Dana L. Muscat. Sunday evening, the city issued a press release stating that the public safety director had been placed on administrative leave after receiving a citizen complaint. Michigan State Police Lieutenant Kimberly Vetter said troopers are investigating the matter at the request of the Bay City Department of Public Safety. So he's on administrative leave. Obviously, he should be arrested. Let me simplify this. If a cop has a difficult time arresting somebody, if a cop has to exert any type of force to arrest you, typically that cop is going to allocate another charge to you. Don't let the difficult arrest result in a scratch on the police officer. Oh, no. Now you're going to be charged with a felony, okay? We see routinely when officers will write an individual up, give them a charge, a serious charge, for a very simple touch or non-violent contact. We've seen that happen multiple times. I reported on a story out of Atlanta 2 weeks ago where that's exactly what happened. It was a non-violent contact between a citizen and the cop. He touches the cop gets really upset, okay? They effect an arrest, the person gets injured during the arrest, and it eventually lands the cop in jail. The cop got indicted. But this is not abnormal. It is normative typically for police officers to charge individuals with unwanted contact. Well, that's exactly what happened with this teenager. And I could say the contact was more than just unwanted, it was damaging. According to the narrative, the flashlight left a mark on this teenager's body. Once again, no arrest, showing law enforcement, they have special treatment, all right? Adrian, as an attorney, it is clear to me that these teenagers did absolutely nothing illegal. Why do you think it took this much for the public safety director to face any level of administrative consequence from the city?
Well, I would actually start to wonder who that teenager is affiliated with. Maybe they accidentally, he messed with the wrong teen. Who knows what his or her parents are associated with, even any of the teens that were present there, because I'm confident that this wasn't the first complaint that this man has received. This is how he does business. He saw a young person and he figured that individual was powerless, and so he figured he would harass and assault them. And also having it on social media is not helpful in terms of getting other people involved, because I'm sure a lot of people who watched that video were none too pleased, and they're calling for there to be some action taken. It's just considerably unfortunate. All of the people who were probably assaulted by this individual in the past and filed complaints, and yet their complaints went ignored.
Yeah, and it's so shameful that instead of this officer being a mentor, instead of this officer being a guide for a young person, he decides to be their bully. He decides to intimidate them with lies. He decides to physically harm a teenager when this could have been done so differently. And he would have been known to the masses for something positive. Now he's known for something very negative.